Welcome into SHL Tonight. I'm your host, Ace, back in the seat again. Shout out to him for covering things. And I know Patrick jumped in and covered things as well while I was out. So it's been a hectic couple of weeks for me. Glad to be here alongside me. As you can see, it's not my normal co-host. Hiff is also going to be a little occupado this evening, but he's no stranger to podcasts himself. The man, the myth, the legend, Luke. Luke, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It's a nice Friday. It's hot as fuck, and I'm ready to talk about SHL.
It's Saturday, but that works.
Oh, even worse.
Hey, it's the weekend. It's not. We don't have work tomorrow. If you're a normal Monday through Friday worker, I use the term normal for that. That's probably insensitive. I apologize if you're not a Monday through Friday worker, but yeah, you still got Sunday, the day of rest, if you will. Plenty of stuff to go over. We have a pretty full agenda for today's episode, including some questions. As a reminder, if you're watching on YouTube, we are live on Twitch. We are very close to reaching affiliate status that will allow us to do some cool things with like channel points and a bunch of other creative stuff that we're really hoping to go wild with here in the future. So without further ado, our first item on the agenda is going to be our power rankings for this week. In case you're aware, I want to also, before we jump in, want to give a quick shout out to Slicer, who is our analyst, who's providing the data and the metrics behind our power rankings. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in and go over our power rankings for the week.
Yeah, how do you want to do this?
There we go.
Perfect.
And here we go. Congratulations to the Calgary Dragons, who is number one on our power rankings for this week. Number two, the Seattle Argonauts. And we're going to go in and talk a little bit about why on all of these, but we'll just go top to bottom. And then, Luke, when we start breaking them down, I'm just going to hand it over to you.
All right.
And some insights on the individual team performances. So, number one, Calgary. Number two, Seattle. Number three, Atlanta. Number four, Tampa Bay. Number five, Los Angeles. Number six, New England. Number seven, Edmonton. Number eight, Chicago. Number nine, Winnipeg. And number 10, New Orleans. We do have one team that was right on the precipice, but unfortunately just missed out. And that wonderful distinction goes to the Texas Renegades. Sorry. Better luck next week. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about why the Calgary Dragons have secured the number one spot in the power rankings. Luke, what have you seen out of Calgary lately that you think makes them worthy of the number one spot here?
Yeah, I think they're just the best in the West, and the West is super strong right now, so it makes sense that they are that they're number one in the power rankings. They got the Solberg twins. I think they're twins, siblings, related, whatever. You know, they have 51 points in 33 games for Foria, 40 points in 33 games for Sonja, and then their goalie as well. You know, they have a really good backup in Jacob Alexa, you know, 0.916, which is rare this season to see anyone above 900. And then Anastasia is also holding them down pretty well.
Yeah, and it is kind of an interesting wrinkle this year, too. You mentioned backup goalies. I mean, with the transition to FHM 10 and the current situation with goaltending tracking, it's been a little bit of a pickle. So the head office recently put out an announcement that said, hey, you know, we're not really actually going to hold your feet to the fire if you're a general manager on your backup start. So it'll be interesting to see if teams deviate from their original strategy. It wouldn't surprise me if teams that have an inactive backup goalie do that. But if you have an active backup goalie, you probably still want to play him. But
yeah, and also with like back to backs as well.
Back to backs, yeah, for sure.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason why my backup is playing, just for all the back to backs. And I don't want to run down my goalie.
Yeah. All right. Well, any other thoughts on the Dragons before we wrap up and move on to number two?
No, I think they're doing really well. You know, Boom stuck to the rebuild pretty good, and now they're seeing good benefits from it. Both them and Seattle kind of both came up at the same time, so it's nice seeing them in the top of the league.
Absolutely. All right, number two, we have the Seattle Argonauts, who have a record of 23-9-1 for 47 points.
Yeah, no, Seattle's doing really good. I think it helps that they're, I think, third in the league in TPE or something like that. I don't know. They're pretty high TPE, but, you know, they're also got a lot of great scoring, a lot of great young talent, but also they acquired some pretty good veterans, like Chris Valentine's third in the team in points. You know, he's what, 3, 4? No, one-time Cup champion. My bad. With only San Francisco, but you know they have a lot of really good young people, but also really nice veterans.
Yeah, I feel like Seattle's been building it the right way for a long time, and now it is time to, kind of see how the Argonauts are gonna, make good on this competitive window that they have. Because everybody knows just because you've built a powerhouse team, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed cups. I know that one firsthand. It'll be interesting to see how their management team and coaching staff does. Obviously, the early dividends for this year are strong, and it'll be very interesting to see how that Calgary and Seattle battle goes down the rest of the season. Number 3, we have the Atlanta Inferno, who are actually above Seattle in regards to points, but for a couple of different reasons, we went Seattle over them. But Atlanta Inferno, number 3, with a record of 24-6-2 for a total of 50 points in the standings.
Yeah, I think the last week or so, they had a couple rough losses, but they're still probably the best team out in the East. They're also peaking at this right moment as well. They still have a lot of firepower. They aren't really too deep in regression, but they're starting to show signs. So now this is kind of the couple of seasons where it's kind of win or get off the pot. One thing of note that I also see out at Atlanta, which they've done for a long time, but now they're doing it again, is their goalies. They split the starts between them. Like Denebor Milage has 18 games played, Stun Gun has 15, so they're going like a split approach.
It's definitely a little unique, but I guess when you have 2 goalies that are, if I recall correctly, they're comparable in TPE. I don't think.
Yeah, they're pretty comparable. Yeah, no, they've been doing that. I've noticed them do that for quite a bit, and I think it has to do with them thinking that the goalie fitness level attains to goalie performance.
Yeah. BV says, I definitely like the fact both SHL Tonight and SMJHL Tonight are doing power rankings. Can be nice for conversation. Here's hoping Buffalo can get there eventually. I am confident eventually Buffalo will get there. Eventually.
Maybe not next week.
Probably, maybe not next week. Maybe not. The J Tonight just ripped off of SHL Tonight. Well, I mean that whole podcast, J Tonight, is just a rip off of SHL Tonight. But
everyone need to talk about the SMJHL.
No, if you guys didn't know, I'm sure you all do by now. But we're very excited that we did officially launch the SMJHL Tonight show. Last week, Toaster and Patrick are the ones that are hosting that. They've done a wonderful job through their first couple episodes, and makes it easier on me to make sure I can just focus on the SHL and allow those young fellers over there to do what they do best in the J side of things. So very excited about that and the potential of what our shows can be like in the future, because we're not done yet in the broadcast team. But anyways, we got some other stuff to go to. Let's keep on going down the power rankings. Number 4, the Tampa Bay Barracuda, who have a record of 22-8-3 for a 47 total points in the SHL standings. Thoughts on Tampa?
Yeah, I thought they started off pretty slow. It didn't, seemed like they had some, maybe some tactical differences, maybe adjusting to FHM 10, but they really brought it back. I think this week as well. Braden Point, 51 points in 33 games. They've been a really good team for the last couple of seasons, and they're peaking right now. I think they are 3rd or 2nd in average TBE per team. So, they're where they're supposed to be. Maybe we'll see them go for a run to be 1st in League Me President's trophies again.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I feel like the Tampa Bay Barracuda have just done every single thing that you can do, minus winning a cup in this current core. So it'll be interesting to see if they can, fight off Atlanta, fight off New England, and get over the hump this year and get it done.
Atlanta also has to do that as well.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. But it'll be interesting because their team's not getting any younger.
No, especially with expansion right on the horizon as well. They're going to be losing a couple really good key players. So, if it's any time to win, it might as well be this season.
Yeah. All right, number 5, we have the Los Angeles Panthers. record of 19-9-4 for 42 points. What are your thoughts on the Cats out with the West?
I think like Tampa Bay, they struggled out at the beginning of the season. Maybe it was coaching wise, maybe it was just bad luck. I'm not totally sure. Maybe I'll hear about it from Rich on Sunday. But I think they started, they did very well to get back into the talking points. 42 points, third in the West, and a very good West as well. So I think the one thing they need to do is probably score more, or let in less goals. But other than that, another strong team, but also a different team. Like the last 7 seasons, their team evolved where it's not just like a lot of homegrown players, but they traded in for a lot of people like Matt Griddle or Brooklyn Fist. Those type of players.
Yeah, one big thing and one thing to note is that they jumped 3 spots this week in the power rankings. And it was really buoyed by a strong 13-win week for them against a pretty tough schedule. So if you notice, their points are a little bit behind the other teams that are kind of in that top 5. But I mean, when you have that kind of a strong week, it's going to definitely build your case on the strength of schedule and just how strong of a performance the week was. And these are weekly power rankings, guys. Like, it's not the standings. If you wanted the standings, you can go to the index and look at that. But we're here for some wonderful power rankings. So right now, the Panthers aren't really elite on goals for or goals against. But, hey, you can't argue with the results this week. And we'll have to, monitor how they do next week. Probably maybe a little bit of regression to the mean. But, we'll wait and see. Next up, we have the New England Wolfpack. At number 6, they have a record of 22-9-2 for 46 points. Really kind of concerned about the leadership from the top of this one here. What are your thoughts, Luke?
We had a great week, lots of wins, and then a couple losses that we had. We outshot them. Like, I know on Friday we got shut out against Buffalo, but we outshot them. The one thing that I am concerned about is their power play, only 15%. Like, they got to change up coaching or something like that. But, overall, it's a good team, and it's a good place to be.
Yeah, I mean, if you thought that 13-win week for LAP was impressive, New England was fortunate enough to get 14 wins this week. But it was a pretty light schedule for the New England Wolfpack.
We beat up on a lot of bad teams.
Yeah, they played up against 10 bottom 5 teams in facing 10 bottom 5 teams. Yeah, so you saw teams multiple times.
Yeah.
They are really good at putting the puck in the net. Managed to hit tied for second with goals, and you guys are doing pretty well, and keeping the puck out of the net too. So that is a recipe for us. Whether it's sustainable against the top tier teams, especially out west, who knows? Only time will tell.
Yeah, no, a lot of even strength goals. I'm just looking for a couple more power play goals. Troy McClure is leading the power play goals with 9. So as a defenseman leading it, that's concerning.
Rich says we're not going to hear anything, or at least you won't hear anything regarding LA.
We'll see.
Are you getting a cut of this podcast for them using your co-host, Rich? No, he's got a strict NDA on this participation on SHL Tonight. So apologies for that. Poor Kari. Yeah, Luke's here. It was a last minute shuffle in my defense. So big shout out. Big shout out for Luke for jumping in and being able to fill in last minute here. So really do appreciate you, Luke, joining us here. All right, let's keep going. We still got 4 more teams to go through. Number 7, we have the Edmonton Blizzard with a record of 17-12-3 with 37 points. Before I throw it over to you, I mean, this is a team that I was very fascinated to watch what they would do this year, because in a season where a lot of teams were maybe considering putting themselves in a position to mitigate the damage done in the expansion draft, Edmonton went out and acquired 2 star forwards. They're like, all right, well, everybody else seems to be kind of like trimming the fat to try to protect their roster. Why not go for it now? We have a young core. Let's go and get, Spidey. Let's go get Alaska, 2, star forwards in their own right. 3-time cup champions, I believe, for both of them, maybe.
Yep.
Why not? And I think that this kind of just goes to show that even though you can go out and get star players, sometimes just building in-house and chemistry is going to get you further than what big game hunting is. But they still have time to kind of develop that chemistry and maybe click a little better. I mean, they're going to make the postseason. There's no doubt about that for me. But like I said, 17, 12, and 3 for 37 points. What are your thoughts on the Blizzard, Luke?
Yeah, I think they're definitely overperforming what their TPE says. I think they're 11th in team TPE for forwards and defensemen. But I mean, when they have Dominic Winters and Logan Webb, their chemistry is very good. They're leading their team in points with 43 and 40, with Winters having a 33% shooting percentage, which is crazy. I think they're doing pretty good. Just in time, I think, is like second or third in goal saved above average as well. So Father Time is not slowing down for him. But I just don't think that they're like a real cup contender. It is weird that they went. I think they traded like a couple firsts away. So it's a weird move, but with expansion and all, I think they'll regret it. But they also have so many prospects, so it's just like a balancing act.
Yeah, the other kind of interesting thing for me is I believe they have 4 first-round picks in the season 84 draft, which a team that already has such a wonderful prospect pool.
Oh, yeah, they should. Yeah, they do.
It is mind-boggling. Like, shout out to the management team over in Edmonton for building a team on the rise with a lot of young talent and still having a stockpile of 4 first-round picks. So that'll be fascinating to monitor. One thing about their presence on the power rankings, it's important to note that they are our biggest faller from last week to this week. Edmonton dropping 3 slots from 4 to 7. But we'll definitely have to kind of keep an eye on that to see if that slide continues for next week. Any concluding thoughts for the Blizzard?
I did not realize that many first. So ball out, I guess. I mean, what else are you going to use those first for? And you think you can take the next step and not be a bad team this season and kind of keep that momentum going? Why not?
Yeah, and BV brings up a good point. Edmonton basically has their core set, even if they lose a few in expansion.
I'm sure that makes you happy, Ace. Seeing all their unexposed players.
Yeah, I mean, when you have 4 first-round picks in season 84, it makes it easier to buy another protection slot.
True. You got a lot. You can get a lot first then.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I like to build anyway. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Number 8, the Chicago Syndicate. They have a record of 16, 13, and 4, so technically a below 500 record. But
hockey, they're above hockey 500.
I hate that term. I just can't stand it. But they do rise 1 spot from 9th to 8th this week. What are your thoughts on the Syndicate?
I think they're in like the Winnipeg to Texas bubble in the West, where just like they're all like pretty good, so like they can get wins against each other, but I don't think they're one of the top teams. They have Slava, one of the top players, Raw Mexico nomination last season, 48 points in 33 games played. I think their one weakness right now is that their goalies aren't that great. Their highest is 0.875 save percentage, 0.872 save percentage. So they're maybe getting unlucky in terms of that, but they're driving play pretty well. They have only had 3 players that are under 50% Corsi. So I think it would just be, going out and see if they can win a round or 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. They did have the second toughest schedule in the league by our metrics, so that is definitely something that's a little bit of a feather in their cap. Next up, we have at number 9, the Winnipeg Aurora with a record of 19, 14, and 1 and 39 points. The Aurora were not in the top 10 last week. So the Winnipeg Aurora have jumped into the top 10 of our power rankings. They had a very strong 12-win week. And the big question mark, as far as I can see right now, is going to be on the goal differential. They do have a little bit of a younger defense. And they're going to have to kind of stem that tide and hopefully maybe outscore their mistakes. I do think that acquisition of Betsy Nickelback could potentially assist for this year. But only time will tell. What are your thoughts on the Winnipeg Aurora?
Yeah, they traded for Kare, which was pretty good. I think the person they traded away is like 1,400 TPE and Kare is around 2K. So I think that will probably help going forward. But You know, they need to shoot a lot more. I think their shots against is pretty good, about 30 per game, which is okay this season, but they only have 31 shots for per game. So I think they definitely just need to shoot more, and I think Bessie will help with that.
Oh my God, I'm all over the
Oh,
place.
what are you doing over here?
What am I doing? Stop screen. Bear with me. We'll get it right back up in a second.
But yeah, I think they also just needed to kick out their bum former GM. You know, have
exactly. That's the most important thing. Get rid of that guy.
GM? I forget. They have Dex as a co-GM now. Shout out to him. And
there we go.
Who's their real GM?
Sink is the head GM of Winnipeg.
Yeah, they just need to get a new man in charge.
Honestly, like and this is like, I love Sink, and he was the guy that I wanted to take over. He was my co-GM. I have seen so much more activity in that locker room since I left than what was going on before. So big time shout out to Sink and everybody over in the Aurora locker room. They still got, you know, a really good thing cooking. And yeah, maybe they just need to get rid of me to get, you know, things going again.
Yeah.
Number 10, we have the New Orleans Spectres with a record of 17-12-3 for 37 points. What are your thoughts on the Spectres?
I think they're in the same situation, I feel like, as Winnipeg, but I feel like they had more expectations on them. You know, they were, you know, their coaching was, what's the coach of the year name? I forget. They were a coach of the year finalists last season. TPU wise, you know, they're
the uppercut, is it?
No, it's not the uppercut.
What's GM?
I was just doing the awards today for the portal. Anyway, you know, they just need to shoot more. Only 30 shots per game. They have a good core, but you know, the goalies are hurting them pretty much. Wait, never mind. Forgot how the index does it. But losing their 2K goalie probably does not help, and having Jeff Kirkstone, you know, try to take the mantle from that. But
thanks, Fresh, the Joe McKeel.
Joe McKeel, so right.
He's so right. That's why I hired him.
Yeah, I think they just need maybe some different tactics. Who knows? But you know, when almost all their team is below hockey or 50% Corsi for, you know, a little bit, or you know, around 50%. But you know, I think some tactics need to change for them to really take it back up to the next level that they were last season.
Yeah. This is a monumental fall in the power rankings. They went down 8 slots from number 2 to number 10. I did the math. It's going to be, they got to stem the tide and stop the bleeding right now. And losing your goalie is not going to help with that. So it'll be fascinating to see how they progress this week and to see if they maintain their slot in the power rankings, or, you know, like I said, the Texas Renegades, they're knocking on the door wanting to get back in there. They're probably going to have to go through the New Orleans Spectres in order to do that. Raj, yes, it's going to be mentioned. It is going to be mentioned on today's show. No worries, my friend. So, all right, let's go back here. Bang, 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 bang. There we go. All right, moving on. As always, if you guys have any questions or any things that you guys want us to chat about, please do not hesitate to jump in and throw it into the chat. We'll put your question up on the screen and talk about that. My dog is barking upstairs. All right, the other thing that I wanted to mention that I thought was pretty interesting was going to be about the rulebook changes. And
yeah.
Luke, I think you're a little more analytical than what I am for sure. So I want to get your kind of takes on it, but I'm going to go ahead and pull that up on the screen, and we'll share the screen again.
I should have read it more.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot here. So
I think a lot of it was just like aligning with how the portal works, and then just clearing up some information that was already like loosely available.
Yeah, the big notes were, I think, mainly about regression here. It just looks like it's just, you know, cleaning things up and saying that regression will be fully handled by the portal now, and that players must complete regression by the deadline, or GMs have 24 hours to do so on their own. Any other thoughts or things that we should mention about this change to regression?
No, I mean, it's how the portal's been working since season 72. It's just that it's now in the rule book, so people can't complain about it, I think. I don't know. I mean, regression's super easy now. You just click buttons and then you watch the CPU go away.
It's so nice. It used to be, oh my God, all the math you had to do way back when.
I know. Especially when you're trying to help someone regress, but they take forever to respond back. So you're like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. 2 days later, they're like, sure, how do I post it? I'm like, let me just write it all up for you, I guess. But no, it's a lot easier, especially with GMs just being able to click the button instead of like, all the other stuff. So they're able to regress players a lot quicker if it comes to that.
The other thing that I thought was pretty interesting was the post-retirement TPE. As a player that is on a team that's hoping to get as many wins as possible, but he's retired, like in a perfect world, I could still like get some TPE and put that into that player. But,
that hasn't been the case since I was in the league, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think you probably should be able to, but I understand it's a technical limitation right now, the portal. And
before the portal, we didn't allow it either. Once you retire, the thread got lost.
There were a lot of like special situations that were mentioned in the rule book, and that was why they just trimmed it down. And I'm obviously going to be a big proponent of always streamlining and simplifying the rule book, because why use many word when few word do trick? Yep. So I'm definitely okay with that. But like, also, it's like, it would be kind of cool, at least. Like, that's one of the few moments where you have two players, right? Like, you're allowed to in the league. So, but yeah, that's one thing that's kind of interesting is streamlining that process. I don't think we need to really touch on much else. But what I just want to use the time here for is just to say, despite a lot of the shenanigans going on the site lately that are maybe a little inflammatory toward the head office, these guys are working their rear ends off. And the stewardship of the rule book is not an easy thing to do. So definitely appreciate head office for cleaning up a lot of this stuff here. So well done, HO. Please make sure I get my payment on time. Really appreciate it. Any other thoughts on any of the rule book changes or anything else that you think is worth talking about, Luke?
No, nothing too spicy coming out of the rule books.
Yeah, and without that formal post of regression having the deadline right at the top, it also codifies that. Yes, and codification is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing again. Here we go. We have some fun stuff to talk about with the SHL job board. So in case you aren't familiar, the best way to earn money in our community is not by going out in free agency and signing a massive contract, because GMs don't do that. Mm-mm. It's by getting jobs. And I think
you're taking league minimum.
I think Luke is well versed in the process of taking league jobs. I think you've done all of them by now.
I've done a decent amount. No graphics because I'm not graphically inclined, but I like to say I'm the league helper here. Anyone can message me, I can help out.
And that's what he's doing here. He's helping out.
Yeah.
What a swell guy. Raj says hi, Patrick. Patrick says hi, Raj. Raj says frick yeah, BV. You can agree or disagree on things, but in the end, the job ain't easy and HO works hard. Give them that. That's right.
Especially when you do it, volunteering. Right after you get home from work or during work, you got to put out fires. That's not fun.
No, not a good time whatsoever. All right, so we do have some wonderful hiring posts here, so we just want to take some time. The big interesting one for me is going to be the fact that we do have an SHL GM job open, and that is going to be the Baltimore Platoon general manager. $8 million a season. That's not insignificant. And then you also get your championship and all-star week paid for, or covered.
That's your coaching right there. And then don't have to write those two things.
Exactly. Just keep in mind, if you are currently under contract with an SHL team other than Baltimore, you must get explicit permission from your general manager prior to applying to this role. So that's an interesting one. While we're about to go over some others, I think it's a good time to give you guys our official trivia question for the day.
Ooh.
And this is something that I stole from the SHL Tonight show. So I like their idea. So it's a little bit of a give and take here. So I'm going to go ahead and put our new trivia question for the SHL Tonight. And that's going to go on the banner down at the bottom where it is the ticker there. There we go. Which SHL team was the first to relocate and what was its new identity? The first correct answer will get a prize. Which SHL team was the first to relocate? No, you can't.
Why not?
And what was its new identity? The hosts can't win.
Fine.
So we'll keep going down through the jobs. Yes, great point, BB. Fancy is our league job coordinator. Fantastic resource. You should do that.
Yeah.
I'd rather apply for head paint watcher than write 20 million worth of media. Yes. Yes. Is that a job? I didn't see that. Fancy. Is that chief paint watcher?
Yeah, I think they call it simmer. You know, they're just watching paint dry, clicking buttons now with the goalie spots being automated.
Yeah. Yeah. Luke is hiring. Oh, Luke, why don't you talk about the jobs you're hiring for?
Yeah. So 2 of them are for budget assistants with the expansion team coming up, you know, with 4 new teams. We usually do 1 person has 4 teams. So it's a perfect time to expand. And then another person is stepping away. But also we have 2 new roles, which is budget auditing with the Baltimore punishment and then the signing punishments that happen at the beginning of the season. Feel like it should be a job. I was doing it, but especially this off season, I had to go on a work trip like the week when everyone was re-signing. So there's a couple things fell through the cracks. So might as well get 2 new jobs, especially as there's lots of new people and lots of new people that need jobs. So it always can be a good thing. But yeah, now I'm hiring. Hopefully, you know, people apply. That would be nice.
$5 million a season, guys. Go get your money. Hey, the guy that would hire you is right here on the call. So you can tell that he's passionate about bringing new people in. So there you go.
I do. I like to hire people that don't have jobs or are first gens because, you know, I also know as someone who had like 1 million jobs that, you know, being able to spread the wealth out is nice.
Yeah, Naomi is in the chat here. If you like to do graphics, the recruitment team is seeking someone to help make cool graphics to post on social media and more. We do have their job posting up on the screen right now. So that job is still open. The pay is a beautiful $6 million SHL dollars after every recruitment cycle concludes. So make sure you go ahead and reach out to Naomi if you like messing around with graphics and you would like to help out our wonderful recruitment team who are doing a fantastic job. The other one that I wanted to mention, there's this fun little job for those of you that are, you know, the Discord mods.
Chronically online.
Looking to get, you know, managing their Discord kittens.
How old are you?
I'm 34, baby. 34.
Can't be saying that.
So yeah, we are looking for a new Discord mod. 5 million per season. Make sure you DM James on Discord because he loves getting DMs on Discord from everyone. If you're interested in participating as a Discord moderator, Tips Fedora. All right, so that's probably going to do it for our
BB,
job post.
BB won the thing.
Yes, there we go. Correct answer. BB is in. The correct answer is the Wisconsin Monarchs, who were an original franchise in season 1 and season 2. And then starting in season 3, before even I joined the league, they moved to Vancouver to become the Vancouver Ice Wolves. So names that are all defunct and dead, but a fun little bit of SHL history.
Rich almost got it. The easiest way you could look for this is in the index when you go back to season 1 and then step up to season 2 and then season 3.
I went into your Tableau for the map.
Oh, bro, what a throwback.
Yeah.
Geez.
Yeah. Let's actually see if we can share that real quick. I want to see if I can pull that up and we'll share.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I went Wisconsin Monarchs, Vancouver Ice Wolves, Vancouver Nightmare, Los Angeles Kings, Seattle Riot, Tampa Bay Barracuda.
Where did it go? SHL map history. Timeline. No, I don't want that. Where did it go?
What do they win, by the way? Or not they, but what does BV win?
So you will get enough SHL dollar dues to buy yourself a Ruby pack.
Nice. Yeah, I know BV been ripping them open, so
yeah,
that's nice.
Definitely. Yeah, Rich was right on BV's heels on that one there. So just like that insurance commercial, if you're in the States and you watch a lot of hockey, gotta be quicker than that. Where is that map? That was such a cool map. Oh well, I can't share it because I can't track down the link. There is, if you can find it, let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the graphics announcement, which I am so stoked about. Because if you didn't know, and you can see behind me, I've got BB11. BB11 was my custom droid that I had made down at Galaxy's Edge in Disney. He's named after 2011, which was the best league or the best year that ever happened in the NHL. Maybe a certain team won the cup that year. And then I also have my lightsaber over there, but I'm not going to go get it. So really, really excited. And hence why I'm talking about Star Wars. It is the graphics event. And I'm going to share my screen here. Bada bang, bada boom. Fix this.
Nice.
Star Wars week. May the 4th be with you. If you didn't know, tomorrow is May 4th, the wonderful May the 4th little thing that everybody does in Star Wars land. So some really awesome dad jokes in here too. So take the time to look at these. We have C3 PNG, RPSD2. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wookiee Sigmaker.
Luke Skylayer. Darth Sig. I find your lack of Sigs disturbing.
Rose hit it out of the park with that. I loved seeing that.
So fun. I love it. Way to go, graphics team and Raj. Very fun here. This is a ×2 reward event. I do have a fun little, I'm going to actually leak this from somebody that showed me the first production that they had around this. And I'm probably going to get my hand slapped for doing this. You sent me that too. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Rugsy put together a wonderful design. And I'm going to share my screen here.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I said to him, I was like, I don't know if I should be more offended, like, that I'm Jabba, or like if I would be offended if I was Leia. Like, which one is worse? It's like, at least I'm a cartel boss.
That's so funny. Yeah.
This is so cursed. I both hate it and love it. It's a big shout out to Rugsy who put this together. Great example of some of the creative stuff that we could do with the Star Wars week for double pay. Hip looks good. Yeah, he's not very bald in this photo, huh?
No.
Yeah, not realistic. Sweet Christ. I need one for the J-Rungs. we got Blink.
That's great.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, so that was definitely a treat. All right, let's stop sharing it and get that off of everybody's screen. If you need eye bleach, it is available via the head office.
SHL merch shop.
Yeah, SHL merch shop. Good point.
You can get some Winnipeg Aurora branded bleach.
Yeah, that's what you need. All right, so yes, Luke did track down the Tableau visualizer, which is really, really cool. So if you didn't know, one of the original franchises in the SHL, the West Kendall Platoon. No, they weren't always in Baltimore. They were a South Florida team
for 53
back in
seasons.
Season 1. Just love that. And
or
the original
seasons.
Sorry?
52 seasons. They were in West Kendall.
52 seasons they were down there in West Kendall. Yeah, that's true. The original Toronto Stars logo. Look at that. Yep. Red and white. Bet you didn't know that. Original Hamilton Steelhawks.
Done in paint by Leafs Forever friend.
That's funny. Oh, the LA King. I mean, Wisconsin Monarchs.
Yep.
How do I move the map again? Oh no.
Middle
Drag and drop
maybe.
doesn't work. Let's go back to sheet 4 and then go teams with map.
Nope.
Oh, I porked that one, huh?
Keep on zooming out.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
There you go.
There you go. Look at that Calgary Dragons original logo. Oh my God. That is fantastic. Yes, it is the Luke. Make sure you go on Twitch. Watch on Twitch. Help us on Twitch. We're so close to affiliate. And I'm so glad to see you in here, though, as well, Geekazoid. Love you, buddy. And to the cards, yep, I've been ripping them. There's a Claude card I'm looking for. I need to spend my 100 mil.
Yep.
Are we ever going to see another rebrand in the SHL? That's an interesting question. I think it's going to be sooner than you think. I think with a certain GM transition that's happening over, and I'm not actually leaking anything. I don't know, but I do think that with the change in regime over in Minnesota, they haven't been good for a long time. I know I'm not saying anything contrarian. That's just fact.
It would make the most. No, be contrarian.
Like it's just fact. They haven't been good in a long time, and they have an external candidate coming in.
Yeah.
What better time than the present to maybe rebrand the
move to Ohio, beat 7 to
it. Career hat trick stats is being requested by Raj.
No. Maybe since FHM 8 probably can do that, but probably not in the index. But if you need it, I can get that.
Season 2.
Yeah. Season 2, you got
expansion, Manhattan
and Edmonton coming in.
Edmonton Comets. I always love the Comets brand. I like that.
Yeah.
Season 3, Wisconsin goes over to Vancouver. Season 4, same thing. Season 5, welcome the LA Panthers. Fun fact, I was the first ever draft selection by the LA Panthers way back when. Eric Chisling, my first player. Minnesota was also welcomed in with a straight ripoff of Frölunda, I believe.
Yeah, and they start off with a bang. If you hover over them again, you can see their loss record.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
On brand.
Comments are nice, but Edmonton now has the gay fox, so I approve. Yeah.
Edmonton's
sure.
great. Yeah, I think Carey did that logo.
Carey did do that logo, indeed, and I worked with Carey to do that whole rebrand for Edmonton way back when. So
Carey had a nice run with Hamilton, Edmonton modified the Manhattan logo.
Bad Ace. I don't even know what I did, Corey. Like, what did I do? Let's go back. I think Corey had a question for you a while back while we were doing power rankings. Okay. Best cheesesteak in Philly?
Not in Philly. If you go over to Camden, Donkeys, very good, but don't go over to Camden. But I mean, you know, I don't know. You can find a good one anywhere, really. You know, just find one.
How much cheesesteak do you actually eat when you live in that area?
A couple times a year. I mean, it depends, you know.
Never send anyone to Camden, Luke.
No, you go over there, you make a couple friends in Camden, you're good. But yeah, no, the go-to is, you know, you do American cheese, no whiz. You do fried onions, and if you go crazy, do a little bit of mushrooms on there, and you're set.
Look at that! Oh, the Ice Wolves became the Nightmare.
Bro, I love the Nightmare.
The Vancouver Nightmare. Woo! And my polar bear logo for Manhattan. Yes. I worked with Brandon on this logo way back when.
Shout out to Brandon.
Believe it or not. Yeah.
Brandon, great. Listen, he had he still has the Buffalo logo, hasn't changed since.
Yeah. Good night, Raj. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Bring back the Vancouver Nightmare, in my opinion. I wouldn't be opposed. Honestly, like, I mean, the color scheme's a little redundant to like New Orleans now, but
they're like other side of the world, basically, you know?
Yeah. I like it. Well, just for shits and giggles, let's just keep clicking forward. The other thing I want to do is I want to take our wonderful listeners into the world of the Wayback Machine.
Oh.
And actually show you what the site looked like back in the mid-season 10s, season 20s.
Go back to the 2013
the
one,
J-Sync forum. Oh yeah, like way back when. It'll be kind of fun. We're not going to click too much in there because there might be a code of conduct violation or two.
If you want to see one, go back to Tabatalk. Or what they had envisioned, but now it's Tabatalk that has the season 1 through season 6 ones.
Look at that. The Las Vegas Kings, the nightmare are gone and they become the Kings. Such an easy opportunity to be called the Las Vegas Aces, which I'm a little biased toward myself. But you do have a relocation and a rebrand here. I think we do see quite a bit of relocations in the next 10 seasons or so.
Yep. You do. You see New England coming, or Hartford coming in, originally the Buffalo Thunder, but never got
branded.
No, they did get branded.
Oh, did they?
They drafted, but then they moved right after because Jester went back to Calgary.
Way to go, Chevy. Way to make it in, buddy. Thanks, buddy. Made it to Twitch. Chevy has a history question. Which team historically has been relocated the most in the SHL or SMJHL? I feel like it's got to be this Vegas or current Vegas team on the map right now, Vancouver Nightmare.
If he was here for the trivia question, it is Tampa Bay. They Wisconsin, Vancouver, Los Angeles, Seattle, Tampa Bay. And they also went from the Ice Wolves to the Nightmare.
Hey, look who we have right here.
Hartford.
The original Tampa Bay franchise.
Tampa Bay Hydras. And then
it was Tampa Bay before it became Hartford, apparently. That's so funny.
Yeah, because
I forgot about that.
Because Nando took it over.
And then they go all the way up there, Hartford.
And all the way up to Hartford.
Hartford Hydras.
Los Angeles rebranded as well. I think that was under McZ.
Yeah, that's definitely a choice.
Yep.
Minnesota goes to the modern headdress.
Yes, and then they cut down the little or the bottom half in season 20s as well.
Hydras are still here. This is always so fun for me. Oh, another rebrand for the LA.
That was the McZ one. That's the McZ one. McZ got that logo.
The birth of the New England Wolfpack with the OG logo, which, fun fact, if you didn't know the OG logo, it was actually a logo from a band out in, it's actually like a military logo as well, but a band was the one that Orbiting Death, or originally named Green, found, and he talked to the band and was like, hey, can we use this logo for a new team? And the band's like, sure, man, you can use it, not realizing that they ripped the logo off somebody else. So we were like, oh, we got permission to use this logo. So yeah, welcome to the league, New England Wolfpack. I was part of that rebrand opportunity too. Obviously, we're not going to rehash the reasoning behind the Hartford to New England change, but there was definitely good reason to distance the brand and come up with a new birth. So that was a fond season that I look back on. Anyways, why don't we go ahead, and we're running out of time. Why don't we stop going through this fun little exercise? I know somebody who wanted to a Miami with Vice Colors expansion in the season 60 expansion. Yeah, I mean, it's always been a kind of shame that Tampa.
I remember that one. I forget which user did it, but I remember a Vice colored theme when going back to my memory when I did the expansion that season.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying, BD. We have the cool Miami Vice brand, which I love the color scheme. I love it. But it's in Tampa. Why wouldn't you just go over to Miami and do it over there? I don't know.
Because JSS moved them to Tampa for a good reason.
And what was that?
To move a team.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All I can think of whenever somebody mentions JSS's name, I just think of the JSS toes emote.
Oh, I think when he ran into a gazebo.
What?
Do you know? It went around the Hamilton locker room, but one night, I think he was in call or something like that, and JSS just messaged someone being like, hey, I ran into a gazebo. And I think he like ran into the glass part.
What is the glass part of it? Like when you say gazebo, I think of like that wooden structure.
Yeah, me too. I have no idea, but they do it differently out in Montreal.
Fair enough. All right, so I'm trying to get the Wayback Machine to work while we're doing this. Luke, why don't you just rant about something for like 2 minutes?
Sure. I mean, if someone has questions, more history questions or whatever. I mean, if people want to do the whole the double team spotlight, they're doing a really good job at getting that out. It's like Minnesota did some pretty good ones. I think there was one for Great Falls. There's also been a lot of trade tree stuff media, which is cool to see. I helped gather some GM chat only or hidden chat or hidden forum only trades for them, and that's been a ton of fun to read. It was fun seeing Rose Puffs player Magnus. His trade tree goes from him getting.
Oh my gosh, that one from Vitor, that article.
Yeah, and his final trade was him, it was Magnus getting traded at the start, and then the end is Texas or wherever getting him back, which was super cool.
That is so funny. That's so rare.
Yeah. No, it was funny because like when I was, he had like a couple trades. I'm like, what happened to these picks? And I was looking them up for him, and the final one was just like, yeah, it was Magnus getting traded back to getting traded back. That was the final trade in his trade tree. So. Goes full circle. Luke Thomason was a part of that trade tree with Tampa Bay.
Scrub.
Yeah, I know. Not even Hall of Famer.
Oh, I think I have this here. Okay, 2012. We're going to go back to 2012. July 2nd, 2012. I was approximately 6 months into my time here in the SHL. So I present to you.
Oh, Prey had a really good question for me. We can get back to that after.
I'll throw that up on a second.
Yeah.
So welcome to the SHL.
I remember this one
from 2012.
Yeah. I think I was the only person that would click on all of these Wayback Machine links as well. But yeah, this is really interesting. I can find another cool one.
I don't like this question, really. I don't really want to talk about it. Luke, so many Season 82 loved your scouting convos. What do you set out to do when scouting? And is it a part of your plan to make everyone fall in love with you?
If you talk to JY, who's my GM when I was a co-GM of Manhattan, he always says that I hate scouting, which I kind of do, but also kind of don't. But when it comes to scouting, I have my pretty cookie cutter things, but they're very well out. They're very well laid out. Give a direction of New England, how they fit in. The background of myself as well. Kind of set up like, hey, this is why you can trust New England, and this is where we're trying to go. And then after that, it's a normal conversation trying to get them, or trying to get to know them as a person, and also just like, if they have any questions about the league or getting help with anything. I think I do a really good job at explaining what it takes to be an elite SHL player in terms of earning, how much money you actually need, and then like, some good paths to get there. Also, I just like scout a ton of people as well. I think last season I scouted like 45 people. Hill scouted my co-GM. He also scouted a good amount of people as well. So I think it's just getting the most eyes on your team, and just be a good person.
Yeah, I don't really believe in any of that personally.
Yeah, I think you just send out a mass DM, all the prospects
with a survey. Usually, I just
survey link, just like fill in when you have the chance.
Yeah, like would you fight one duck-sized or one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? That type of shit.
Yeah,
that's
pizza,
what I go for. It's hot dog, a sandwich. Yeah, that type of stuff. Really want to know. Those are the important things. I'm sad because a lot of the images that are over here on the left are not working because Tiny Pick went down. But hey, look at these banners. Look at these things.
Oh, they're a throwback.
That's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Ace, who is your favorite commissioner in history? My favorite commissioner, probably the one that fired me, Corey. Yeah, big Corey guy.
I think Kez was a great one in the J in the season 20s. Not being in the season 20s. I don't know who's the guy that got suspended while being a commissioner for saying something not nice.
Was it Spangs?
Spangs, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, Spangs got mixed up in some fun stuff from time to time. That's for sure. It was a different time. It was a different time. We're looking at it. This was the time.
Yeah.
This was the different time. Wes Kendall, look at that brand for the platoon here on the banner.
Yeah, that's the only time I've seen that type of logo for the platoon. Is only in that.
It's got like a strong like Premier League vibe to it, like a soccer club.
Yeah.
Edmonton Comets, beautiful color scheme. LA Kings or Las Vegas Kings, I mean, really like that. The rip off of the Florida Panthers OG Leaping Cat for the LA Panthers, and the very creative Winnipeg Jets. Which back then, guys, there was no Winnipeg Jets NHL team.
No. Yeah, we were before. We're the OG. Well, after they got rid of the original Winnipeg Jets, we took it back.
Chevy, Wes Kendall rocking the PBR vibe. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, no, the Wayback Machine was a crucial resource. Trying to find older logos after Tiny Pick Tiny Pick blew up all the images. I used a lot of that to get the old logos back. That's also where I found the old season 1 stats that we didn't have until like 3 years ago when I added them back in. So, Wayback Machine was a huge help.
That's great. Yeah, Fresh brings up a good point. Yeah, if you didn't know, kids, we used to have update threads. So let's actually see. I don't think it'll work, but I'm going to try clicking into this one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nah, it didn't work. But
no.
Yeah, you would have to grab the link. Oh, yeah, the other thing that's really interesting, look, it's not the SMJHL, guys. It's the NWJHL, the Northwest Junior Hockey League.
Yep.
So funny. But anyways, update threads. You would have to go out to the PT Claim thread, grab your URL, post it in a new post, edit your post if you already had a post, put that in there, do the math yourself. Updates were just a pain in the tuchus. I remember I had some friends that I was trying to convince to join the SHL back in like season 7, season 8. And they're like, so what do I do? Because I was like, oh, it's like Dungeons and Dragons mixed with hockey, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what do I have to do? I was like, oh, you just have to write a little bit about it. And then you got to go and update your player in the update thread. And yeah, that stopped a lot of my friends from going any further with their player. Did they delete them or just archive them and hide them from the general public? Because yeah, that's a ton of history. I think it's
they deleted it.
Yeah, Luke
Tiny
did a lot
Pick got acquired or whatever, and they shut down. And any image that had a Tiny Pick on it just got cut. Yeah, no, it was a lot of searching in the Wayback Machine, but also I think there was like a couple like photo bucket albums that former SHLers had that I was able to get some of it. And then I think for the original Wes Kendall logo, I got it from a screenshot of a YouTube video that had the Wes Kendall goal horn sound that someone did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see who we had on this day that we still have as a regular member. It looks like I was not one of the lucky participants.
We got Leafs for the win.
We do have Leafs. We have who else do we have? It's
a lot of throwback names. You got Leafs, obviously.
Leafs for the win. Yeah, you mentioned that. Tez is still around from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Tyler,
I'm throwing you an older web archive from 2010.
Ooh, let's jump in on that.
This is where you get some OG.
Oh my God, the Sedin twins and Kovalchuk up on the top.
Yep.
Because this is loading for me. I just have the oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, throwback before your time even.
This is what I remember it being on this.
The Envision 3?
Yeah, I remember the big portal migration. The Prince George Firebirds, the Lethbridge Lions, the Brandon Blazers. Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Oh, you aren't sharing if That's your goal.
Oh yeah, I'm not. Here we go. Thank you.
Yeah, you're good.
Look at those banners.
Yeah, there's some sick banners, to be honest.
Graphic design is my passion. Look at the Brandon Blazers, dude.
Yep.
It looks like a banana peel.
Listen, you got Brandon Holmes, who's Brandon, I believe.
Yep.
I honestly, that might have been his real name.
That is his real name.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I did that shit too. Like my first player, I just doxed my last name.
Yeah.
That's the original 6, baby.
The original 6. Yeah, you got the actual first logos for many of the teams. Yeah, that was the West Kendall platoon. The only logo that I had was that little screenshot, but then I found the YouTube video, which was sick.
Look at that Calgary Dragons logo. Oh my goodness. So funny.
Yeah, well, had everything you need. Look at the commissioners. You got Jake Crever, the original commissioner.
Yeah.
You got all the general managers too.
So funny.
And then
will this work?
I think it may be.
Yes.
Yeah, scroll carefully. But yeah, season. I think maybe that's how. Yeah, click on season 1. Let's see if that's how I got the stats. I totally forget how I got the season 1.
It opened up a new tab and it's not. I'm gonna have to share another screen. It did work. All right, hold on.
Yeah, that's how I got the original season 1 because I was lost. Because like in the Bojo box, it went all the way back to season 2, but never season 1.
Who needs a portal when you have this, baby?
Yeah, that was that when I saw it. I was like, holy shit! Can't believe I found it.
Updated Saturday, July 10th, 2010.
Yeah.
2010. Commish and a GM? Yeah, things were different back then. We were rigging it all the time.
I mean, they're also like they were teenagers.
Yeah, we were all like we were children for sure. I mean, I wasn't here season 1. I joined in season 4, but
yeah.
Look at that. Division 1 and Division 2. And Division 4 and Division 5.
So you got West Kendall on top, baby. Who's the simmer? Probably on. Also, just
I don't.
Docs is Jay Crever.
Jay Crever. Yeah, for Jay Crever, who actually works, I think, for the CFL now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Good for him.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are an hour-long show, and we are already at an hour and 5 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and button this up here. Really appreciate your time today, Luke, jumping in last minute. I think it was a fun conversation.
Yeah, of course.
Got a lot of stuff going over. I think next week, I mean, technically tomorrow, May the 4th, is the deadline. If you didn't know, Steven has to submit his brand by tomorrow.
So really?
You will know the new expansion for the final expansion team that will be entering the SHL here this season. So BV says, fun show. I'll join my cards. Yes, you will. I'll get that wire transfer over your way here momentarily. I'll have my people talk to your people. But as always, really appreciate everyone for tuning in. Yes, thank you very much. The Ohio tracksuits, yes, that's probably happening. No leaks, though. Let's keep it strictly here. But yeah, it was a great time, guys. We will be back at it next week with updated. We're going to have our updated power rankings. We're going to have some branding to talk about for Seven's team and whatever else. As always, we do have our questions thread open and active. So if you have any questions that you would like for us to touch on, I do have some that I owe. I owe Patrick a couple of questions, and I owe Bytor a question. We just didn't quite get to it today. So make sure you use that thread, throw your questions in there, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah, see ya.
Peace.